Now, for the next lesson, let's talk about, well, if these hedge funds are so important, who exactly are these top day traders? Who exactly are these top funds that are moving the market? So here's a couple examples here right on the screen that you can see in the red and the green. So one example, well, really two, of hedge funds are Berkshire Hathaway, which is run by Warren Buffett. He's one of the leading investors, but he's much more longer term. That's just one example of a hedge fund. And another example is Bridgewater Associates. So I gave really two here because those are two completely different kind of businesses for as a whole. Berkshire Hathaway's a little more leaning towards a more of a holding company. Bridgewater Associates is much more your traditional hedge fund. Hedge funds, for the most part, which we'll get into within the next lesson, it's basically they're the ones that they take money from X person, they invest it, and they're basically moving the entire market as a whole. They're your competition, if you will. When you're day trading, if you buy 200 shares, maybe they're buying 2 million shares. Maybe they're buying 200,000 shares. Maybe they're buying a million shares. Whatever it is, they're the ones that are competing against you. So when you're losing, they're the ones winning. When you're winning, they're also the ones winning. They know what they're doing. They have that liquidity. They have all that money in the system to make things move. Because when you think about it, if Microsoft is such a big company, you buying and this is not a shot at you, it's not even a shot at myself because either way, I'm not buying millions and millions of shares, but us buying 100 contracts that are $100 each, or hypothetically 20 contracts that are $100 each, whatever it is, we're not moving the entire market. These guys are. Berkshire Hathaway and Bridgewater Associates. They're moving the market because of all the money they have. Or vice versa, if they do a big move or shorting a thing that's really out there, such as the real estate market, like say back in 2008, that was a hedge fund that did that that got so much attention during the movie, of course, as one example, um, which is called The Big Short, if you want to check that out. That is an example of what a hedge fund does. Or on the other side of things, the investment banks, perfect example that most people are familiar with is JP Morgan. JP Morgan doesn't just hold your money, they invest their money. They usually, most banks, depending on their size of them, typically have kind of an investment services or investment kind of portion within their company. So these are the two people that are also in the market with you. And the reason why, again, this is important is because you have to understand that yes, you're trading alongside Joe and Jill that live next to you outside, but there's people that do this professionally. And so, what better way to win and to be a part of the top 10% than to do what the top 10% are doing? But the only way you can do what the top 10% are doing is if you know who the top 10% are. And this perfect example, it's the hedge funds. And it's not necessarily that they make the most money, that they are the top. It's that when they make a small buy, it's $10 million. When we make a small buy, it's $50. Them doing that $1 million plus deal moves the entire market. So if you can literally just mirror them and know exactly what they're doing, when they're doing, and why they're doing it, and understand their mentality and psychology behind all of it, the more you understand about them, the more you can copy them or mimic them or imitate them, whatever word you want to use to make you feel better, but you can make that top 10% money. Maybe you're not making they're making, and one last example is while they're making $10 million, you can make $200,000. And maybe it's not as much money as you want to make, but for most people, that's well up there. Some of the top people in the world make cash flow of about $200,000 to $300,000 a year. So you make it $200,000 for yourself at home in your underwear, hypothetically, which I know a lot of traders do, is a lot better than you going to the office, listening to a boss, doing this, trading when they want to trade, you not being able to take a lunch break because things are so busy, da 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 da. This is a lot easier if you just know what they're doing. So let's continue this.